Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
So here we've made it to a brand new year. I always say this is a fresh start. You have a slate, you have a canvas, you can paint it any way you want. And why not do it in such a positive way, moving your life in the direction you want it to and meet those goals. But I'm going to tell you now, you can't do it alone. You could try. Support from friends and family is great, but it only goes so far. And for that, you need somebody to coach you along the way. And we're going to talk with a great coach today and the difference between a coach and then many of us use a therapist. What is the difference? Let's dig into that. Andrew Dale is with us. He's an amazing life coach. And Happy New Year. I got to say that to you, Andrew. How you doing?
Yeah, Happy New Year, Steve. Yeah, I'm doing really well, thank you, and really excited for the new year. It's great just to leave it all behind. And, doesn't matter how good or bad last year is, today's a new day. And, it's important to focus on the whole year and keeping moving forward.
Yeah, it's so funny. I was at the gym before, and I don't know if everybody remembers this song, classic rock song, came out in the late 70s by Boston. The song's called Don't Look Back, and it's like a top 10 hit for them. And I feel that you can look back and learn from some things, but you shouldn't put that on your back and then try and carry it into a brand new year, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, it's the past is a great lesson, and as long as we use it as a lesson and not not an anchor, we're pretty right. And I was playing golf yesterday, of all things, and each time I'd have a shot, and some were good and some were bad. I just thought, look, I'm going to be outcome focused today, so I don't care what the last shot was like. This is a brand new shot. And I just played. I was much happier at the end of the day. I didn't get cranky at all, and I nearly got one putt. But it was. But I made a conscious effort to not allow what had passed to affect my next outcome, which is really important.
Somebody said to me about a week ago, and I just want to throw this in just as to illustrate part of that, and then we're going to go deeper into the difference between a life coach and a therapist. But somebody said to me, and it made me think too, that does time really exist? This thing we call time. And Einstein says it doesn't, or said it doesn't exist. And when you think of it in terms of your past, did the past really exist? We remember certain things. If you were in a room or in an event with a bunch of people, they're going to remember different things. We might have a record by taking a picture. And then the future. Does the future exist? Not here yet, but this does exist right now, the present. And then to your point of just moving life forward with an eye on the past is so important. Just thinking about, just got to go. If we do think about the future, yes, you want to have a great future, but you don't really know how that's going to go because it didn't get here yet. But now you can work on the now to get you to whatever the future is going to be. And
Absolutely.
I think that's a life coach, to have somebody that I don't want to say hold your hand, but, walk with you in getting to that point. And therapists are great, but what is the real difference between the two?
So I like to give the analogy of a football team, because a football team's going to have a psychologist or therapist, and they're going to have a coach, and they don't actually, they've got two different roles. The coach doesn't run out on the team when you've got a sore leg from being hit hard and go, how are your feelings okay? They're there to get you up and get you going again. And the therapist is for before the game to try and get you psyched up. But the coach is the coach, sets everything aside and says, all right, let's get focused. Let's get focused on your future. Now, a life coach does all of that all the time. The life coach is there, or the way I work is, I understand the past, I understand where you're going, and exactly to your point, now is the moment. Now is the moment. And when you remember your past, if you remember the highlights of your past, and this is where the therapist or life coach side of things comes in, you've got to term your past on what your better moments were. Doesn't matter if you're getting bullied or whatever in your past. at that same moment or in that same time period, there were people who still loved you and liked you. And they're the things you've got to get into perspective. It's putting the past in perspective and then using it to focus on your future, but live now. So by focusing on your future, meaning, in this moment, and I like to break things down as simply as possible. If your outcome for the day, or if your goal for the day is to have, is to win a football match, right? Your life coach can understand who you are, where you're coming from, because they have that history, but also they understand the outcome you want for the day and term everything in the help you understand the importance of focusing on that day and bringing your strengths from your past forward. We get a lot of strength from our history. If you were bullied, you won because you're still here. If you don't understand that, then and the worst part about this is if you're still thinking that the bully won, you're giving your power to the person you despise most in the world, right? And say, well, I'm not going to do that. So how do I get past that? But I don't want to disparage therapists. The therapists do a great job. They've got a job where they're generally, and every person's different, every therapist is different, but they're generally dealing with trying to get you to a point where you can cope and move forward. The life coaching is getting you to a point where you can move forward, but also being there for you as you go, really energizing you or helping you energize yourself and bringing it into a much shorter period. Like you can do amazing things in 3 months if that's what you want to do. You can change your life in 3 months. And it's a different mode. It's a different, some people, therapy's all they'll ever want, which is fine. And other people will take on life coaching and go, wow, that's a huge difference for me. And I just know from people I've worked with, the therapists, and I can only talk about the people I worked with, but the people I've worked with had therapists for years, but we were able to move them forward quickly.
Yeah.
And that may have been part of the groundwork that the therapist had already done. But the point was, my focus and my outcome for people is to bring them forward as quickly as they can, to step into their real future, to make get the strength out of the past and use that as their springboard forward. And but yeah, you get a lot of strength from your past. You've overcome a lot of things, and sometimes if you've had it too easy, it makes it it's more difficult to go forward. But it all depends on the context you put things in. But yeah, the important thing is how quickly can you move forward? What is your visions? Living in the moment, but planning for the future. And I also find that people don't understand what a vision is as well, which is a big part of being coaching, with life coaching. They understand what a goal is, but they don't really understand a vision. And they don't understand how they can have a big vision if they haven't got anything. And the important part about that is you don't need a big vision. Goals are steps to a vision. So if your goal can be anything. I want to buy a better car. What are you going to buy? What are you doing with the car? Well, I want to travel around America. Well, there's your vision or whatever. But breaking things down, especially it's New Year's Day or after New Year's Day. It's New Year's Day. Oh,
Technically, this is still a holiday.
Yeah, technically it's a holiday. But set your bigger goals, but have smaller goals to get yourself started. If you want to buy a car, but it's out of your reach today, set $10 aside a day towards the car, or whatever that number needs to be. Take little steps that you can focus on and you can achieve. If I said to you today, you need to come up with $90,000 for your new car, and you've only got $5,000 in the bank, your brain's going to go, oh, well, that's never going to work, so we're not going to do it. But if you say, all right, well, I need to get to this point, I need to get a deposit of this, and to get to the deposit of this, I just need to put this aside. As I said, $10 a day. Some people will have more than that, whatever the case may be. But get started on your goal with smaller steps. And if you can take the bigger steps, great. But as you get started, you'll become resourceful.
Can we? Yes, let's center on that, because I love the thought about the car. Now, most of us would say, or $90,000. Let's just say it's a $90,000 car. Whoa. So you look at that and you say, how am I possibly going to get $90,000 in a relatively shorter period of time to get that car? And many of us might feel defeated. Many of us might say, all right, I'm going to put a little bit every week toward it, whatever it might be. But to manifest it and think it's going to happen, I'm going to do it. I am going to get that car. I'll do what I need to do. But to have somebody, and we're just using the car as, you know, any goal, could be any goal, but to have somebody be your cheerleader along the way to keep you moving forward on point to make that happen, I believe is where the life coach comes in, where, you know, you might be falling off. Life coach is going to have a plan for you. How are you going to get that car? We're going to work on that. Maybe there's something in you that's another job, another position, something else you can tweak within your life to make it happen. You need that support. Otherwise, you're not going to reach that goal, whatever that goal might be. Is it, when we look at a therapist, would you say that that's more emotional, where a therapist is more of almost like the blueprint? Like, think of a house. We're building a new house, a new you. You're the new house.
Yep.
The foundation might be the therapist to help you heal from things, but the life coach is going to help you build that house and really make it happen.
The difference there is the life coach has the tools to help you heal. One of my biggest strengths is I can heal people quickly, or help them heal quickly. I because of the techniques we use, it's a technique thing. Yep. But yes, the whole journey is about healing from the past and moving into the future. I think the speed is the biggest difference. As far as I can see, it's all about the speed to completion, to the new point. And the funniest part about what we were just talking about there, that $90,000 car, is we've got to know why you want the $90,000 car, because you might get down the track, and this is where a vision comes in, and you go, all right, I'm nearly here. I'm right. I've been resourceful. I can buy my $90,000 car. But because you've been resourceful, you've got a vision, and all of a sudden you might say, well, my $90,000 car was great, but the reason I'm buying the car is because I want a stronger financial position, but I can buy a house now instead. So what was my why? My why was, I want to prove I've got a great financial position, and having my own house is a better outcome. Now, that sounds like a huge switch, but it's not, because I've got no input in it. It's your vision, right? My job is to find out, all right, well, let's get you going. So you get going, and then all of a sudden you go, well, maybe you go, okay, the $90,000 car is exactly what I want. I'll buy it, and then we take the next step from there. Or otherwise we can move. This is the difference between a goal and a vision. A goal is a set post. A vision is why we're going to get there, what's going to happen when we get there, how do we expand it. And the expansion can be, all right, well, we can buy it. By buying the house now, we can, the house can pay for the car, so then we get the two, right? And this sounds like it's confusing. It's done over a period of time, but it's all about the why. It's all about staying on track and saying, well, how can, by being resourceful, how has my world changed? how has my world changed? Because your world does change as you become more resourceful. The things you can do by manifesting is bringing a world to you that you would never otherwise have even thought about. And this is why a vision can grow. And I'm trying to be clear on this, but it's a very difficult subject because literally you got to take steps. The first step is to get resourceful to get the money. Okay, I've got the money now. Now I'm able to buy the car. But by getting the money, I have learnt so much more about myself. I want to be resourceful, or hey, I finally got the car, and then I go from there. So, yeah, I'm hoping that makes sense. It's someone to be there for you as you learn, and they don't always hold you to a vision. They hold you to the reason why your vision was great. It's sometimes I'll have people, they'll go quiet on me for a bit, and I'll know that they're doing something that is against what their values are or something, and they're just hiding from me, and then they'll come back and they'll say, I did something stupid, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's up to you, but it was fun, but it was stupid and I shouldn't have done it, but now I'm back on track, so I'm talking to you again. Okay. So, I'm here to hold your hand, but I do hold people accountable to what they want. What do you really want? You've got this $90,000 car there, and your vision is to have a girlfriend as well. And all of a sudden the girlfriend comes along, and the $90,000 car and the girlfriend aren't financially compatible at this point in your life.
Yeah.
So what do you really want? It's that ability to adapt, to allow yourself to grow, and attract the right people. Once you start attracting your right people into your life, material things change in nature, right? If the reason you wanted the $90,000 car in the first place was because all your mates have $90,000 cars, and you don't really get on with your mates, but you want to be equal to them, and then as you go down the track, you find that you're spending less time with these people because then they're not supporting what you really need in life. You're starting to, and I'm not the one saying, you've got to change your friends. Your friend, as you start to attract people that value you in your life, your priorities will change.
Yep.
If your greatest ambition is to be a millionaire, but the $90,000 car is going to suck up all your resources to stop you to becoming a millionaire, then you've got to make a choice. You can, yeah. So does that make sense?
Yeah, it's a moving target too, because Andrew, you brought up just about friends will sort of come and go, and I saw a flashback on a memory on Facebook, and last New Year's Eve I had a party, and it was a whole bunch of a lot of new people, mostly new people that are in my life. But when I looked at that picture of just this group of, call it 7 or 8 people, at least 4 of them are no longer around in the lives of us and the others, because we're all on different journeys, and they went in this direction. One of them moved, but went in a different direction. So it's always evolving. I think that's even another reason why you should have a life coach for different changes that happen in your life. But you said something before of the car, the girlfriend. It doesn't matter what your goal is. A life coach can help you with that. Let's say you're looking for new relationships. Let's say you're looking for a new job. Let's say you want that car or abundance, whatever it might be. You can help with all of that, right?
Absolutely. And it's about knowing your outcome and knowing where you're going and why you're going there, and being supported on the way through, because there's a lot of healing that goes on with life coaching. And as you heal, your priorities change, and as I said, your personality will change. You will become much more. Well, I had a client the other day said, "I've just spent my first Christmas alone in a long time." And I was fine, and it's by being able to say that, at an important holiday, going, I'm fine to be by myself, when otherwise you would not have been. If it by being comfortable in your own skin, life changes.
Yeah.
If you really want to have a great life, you have to be comfortable with yourself first. You have to honor yourself. If you're not supporting yourself and honoring yourself, how can you be really helpful to everybody you want to be helpful to if you're not whole yourself? And it doesn't mean that, you can't help people today. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying you've got to, a life raft is no good to you with the hole in the bottom of it. If it's sinking, so the first thing you have to do is obviously plug up the hole. But the more together you are, the more people you can help in your life, if that's one of your goals. So,
It's always been said that, and some of us just look at it and say, I'm good, but it is the truth. It really is. And I think if we were taking that time to look at the people in our lives, or the people that we attract or seek, if we're not completely good with ourselves, you look at those people and you probably say to yourself, well, I have them for this reason, I have them for that reason, to make yourself feel better for things that may be missing in your life. But you approach it in a very different way, because I don't hear many life coaches say they help you heal from different traumas, whatever it might be in your life. So you're almost if I could say, kind of a blend between a healer therapist and a life coach at the same time.
yeah, absolutely. I've been able to help people. There was one person who'd seen psychologists for 20, 30 years and could never get on a plane, never knew if she could get on the plane when she got to the airport. So now she can get on the plane. And it was an unusual fix, but it was a fix. It was like, but, it cost her how much money in plane tickets that she couldn't use at the last moment. She couldn't go to Europe from Australia. It was just crazy. But yeah, no, definitely the healing is the biggest part, and it's a cycle. We heal one thing, and then and it's a house of cards too. That one thing that's stopping you having great finances might be the same reason why you're having those repeat relationships. If you have a look at your financial health, quite often it matches your relationship health as well. So every time you have a bad relationship, your finances are horrible. It's not everybody, but a lot of people.
I never thought about that. And it's almost a vicious cycle, because let's say you're in a marriage, not that great, and your financial situation, not that great. And what's the number one thing that most couples argue about? Finances, more than not. But I never thought about that. I can connect the dots, even for friends that are going through stuff.
Well, whereas everything we do is in a circle. There's nothing we can do that, and by healing one part of that circle, generally the whole circle gets healthier. If we can heal something that happened traumatically to you, your finances, the people you attract for romantic, or your friends or your family, those relationships will all change, and they will be attracted. The people who are attracted to the real you, the amazing you, that awesome you, that's that individual, they'll be attracted to you then. It's a whole new life, because the synergies are so much better. And also, you're no longer rushing out trying to get to the next friend or the next relationship or the next quick fix. You're prepared to settle back and go, all right, who am I going to let into my life? And are they adding value to me or not? And, it's not a clinical thing. It's just, it's sort of like eating two different sources. One source you'll go, yuck, I don't like. the other source, oh, I like that, so you'll have more of it. And it's just an instinct, it's an instinctual thing where you'll find that you're no longer comfortable being around people that don't support you, don't honor you, don't respect you.
Yep.
It's just you'll have the strength to say, no, this isn't right. By saying this isn't right for me, what is right for me, then the whole world opens. All right, what are we going to do now? Okay, oh, I want to go and do this. I'll go and do this.
It's so true. And
Yeah.
you could even start on Facebook or Instagram and unfriending people that don't serve you and just kind of move them. I will admit, after the strike of midnight, I don't know what clicked in my head, but I did that. And it was with somebody who I'm very close to or have been. During a divorce, I feel that that person gravitated to the other side. And we were like, I was friends with this person and her husband. And I just got that epiphany. It's like, this doesn't feel right anymore. And it's like, I'm going to put that to the side for now. Will it change in the future? Maybe. But sometimes you got to take a look at that. And I guess it goes back to the, friends for a season or friends for a reason. I think there's some truth in that.
You've got to support yourself. You've got to support yourself. You've got to be prepared to say no. And no is a very strong word. It's one of the one of the better words. It's I guess it's quite often easier than no. And
well, I love somebody told me once, because sometimes it's uncomfortable to say no. No is a complete sentence. You don't have to give anything past that. No.
Yeah, and it's and you don't even need to say it. Quite often people will, you change your energy and you change what you accept around you. And if someone's behaving badly, you just stop talking and they'll get it, and over time you'll find that you'll just do it automatically and walk away from the toxic parts of your life.
Yep.
And you can't. You've got to make space. If your life is full of toxic people, there's no way a sane person is going to come and join a toxic group. Why would they? And you got to make room for yourself. You got to make room for who you are, and great energy around you. It's the I honor my ancestors. They were always great at the yes and no and mean it, or they surrounded themselves with great people that I knew of anyway. And but they always held their line. You always knew that for my grandparents and things like that, you always knew how to behave and not. You didn't have to argue exactly what was right and what was wrong. And if you chose to go wrong, well, good on you. But you had consequence. But it was you didn't. You knew these people were there for you. You honored them, and they treated you with respect. But they also treated the people around them with respect.
But sometimes you don't see it when you're in it, and that's why somebody like you, to help somebody along, can give you that clarity and show you that maybe these people don't really serve you. Because you're so deep into it, you don't see what somebody else is seeing. Or if somebody explains it to, somebody like yourself, like a life coach, what changes need to be made in order to get from here to here, because those people are holding you back. I love what you offer. I think you do call it a free clarity session.
Yes, absolutely. So I give people the opportunity to tell me exactly where they're at today, and what's going on, what their biggest challenges are. And we have a quick discussion around that, and I let them know how I could help them out. But it is free, and it's very worthwhile. People can just unpack. Unpacking is important, and acknowledging, these are my challenges, and this is where I want to be. It's at least you've acknowledged it out loud to yourself.
Exactly, and clarity.
And yes or no, I mean it. That's fine too. It's free and it's no obligation. If you don't want to move forward, that's great. I love to help people out, so that's great.
I just got a visual when you just said unpacking, of somebody walking around with a backpack, and all that stuff's in the backpack, and you're still carrying it along, whatever it might be, the traumas, the stuff you need to heal from, the people that don't support or serve you anymore. And when you unpack that stuff with your help, there's where the clarity comes. Hey, what's this doing in your backpack? Do you really need this? Put this over. So what is this? Put that. Oh, you need that. Put that back in there. Whatever it might be.
So true. It's so true.
So andrewjdale.com is your website, right?
Absolutely. Just go on there. It's the click on the free booking for the clarity, and I look forward to speaking to you.
Yeah. Brand new year, everybody. Make it a good one and start it on a positive note and with somebody that's going to walk with you. Andrew, always great having you on with us.
All righty. Thank you, Steve. It's great to see you.
You too. And Happy New Year, by the way.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
Yep. We'll make it a good one.
Great year. Absolutely.
We'll be right back. Hang on.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.